Good morning, America. Welcome to LBR World News. With us today is Brenna Sanders and me, Rosa Della Torre. We'll start off with our international news. On Friday, March 23rd, Army Staff Sergeant Robert Bales will be charged with 17 counts of murder and 6 counts of assault and attempted murder related to a March shooting spree in Afghanistan that left women and children dead. According to the story, Bales was on his 4th combat tour when he sneaked out from his military outpost in Kandahar on the morning of March 11th. Supposedly, Bales then walked to 2 distinct villages where he shot, stabbed, and burned villagers, along with 9 innocent young children. The massacre followed the accidental burnings of Qurans at a U.S. base in Afghanistan, which triggered waves of deadly riots nearby. As a result, Bales was flown out of Afghanistan last week and is being held at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. There has yet to be a motive for the shootings. However, Afghanistans are insisting that Bales be returned to Afghanistan to face trial for the actions committed, considering villagers are questioning the U.S. military's account for what happened. But, despite such efforts, a military official declared that Bales will be tried in the United States. Unfortunately, the rampage has strained already tense U.S. and Afghanistan relations and has intensified a debate on whether American troops will be able to completely withdraw by the planned 2014 date. On a more lighter note, Pope Benedict XVI's visit has shined light and hope on Mexico's corrupted state of violence. On Sunday, March 25th, Pope Benedict XVI held the Sunday Mass in Silao's Bicentennial Park, which marked the highlight of his 3-day stay in Mexico. As a crowd of proud Catholic Mexicans gathered around the foot of the hill in Silao, Mexico, the Pope declared that renewed faith and a pure heart will help them stand up to distressing times of human suffering in a nation that is constantly bombarded with drug, violence, and insecurity. Furthermore, Pope recognized that Mexico was facing times of sorrow, but in the midst of turmoil, there was still hope. In act of reverence, he repeatedly praised and invoked the Virgin Guadalupe, Mexico's patron saint. And as quoted from the Pope, "At this time, when so many families are separated or forced to immigrate, when so many are suffering due to poverty, corruption, domestic violence, drug trafficking, the crisis of values, and increased crime, we come to Mary in search of consolation, strength, and hope." Considering over 50,000 people have been killed since President Felipe Calderón launched a military-led offensive against powerful drug cartels more than 5 years ago, Mexico has seen the number of violent acts increase throughout the years. Alarmingly, though, the number of dead victims, including small children, has drastically increased and is still increasing today. Therefore, to the millions of desperate and hopeless Mexicans who attentively listened to the Pope's words of encouragement, these words encouraged many to hold on to the faith and hope that tranquility and peace will soon rise from the ashes of desperation and corruption. And now on to Brenna with our
state news. In Bloomington, a fraternity at Illinois Wesleyan University is on interim suspension while the university investigates the death of a student last month. Authorities in northern Illinois say 18-year-old Brandon Landau of New York was at a party in White Pine State Park and died after being found unresponsive with his lower body in a stream and his upper body on a log. Carla Carney Hall is Illinois Wesleyan's Vice President of Student Affairs. She says Sigma Pi fraternity's party at the park wasn't registered as required by university policy. Carney Hall says the suspension will continue until all University Judicial Council hearing is held, likely in mid-April. The Winnebago County coroner says Landau had alcohol and marijuana in his system, but the cause of his death remains under investigation. Now in Springfield, a 46-year-old Springfield man was in stable condition Tuesday after his vehicle struck a light pole at 25th and Cook Streets. Melvin Graves of the 1000 block of South 8th Street was involved in a 2-vehicle crash at 9:51 a.m. Tuesday morning. Graves was cited for driving under the influence, but the other driver Alvin L. Robinson, 18, of the 2500 block of Wilshire Road, was cited for failure to stop or yield at a right-of-way sign. Robinson said he pulled in front of Graves' Geo Metro at the intersection. Graves' vehicle hit the rear driver's side of Robinson's car and then hit the telephone pole. In the more news in Springfield, A Springfield man who was told he had to pay 22 cents for a dipping sauce was arrested after he allegedly threatened a McDonald's employee on Sunday. Adrian P. Williams, 30 of the 3200 block of Sheridan Street, was arrested after he went through the drive-thru of the McDonald's restaurant in Dirksen Parkway about 12:15 p.m. After being told he had to pay 22 cents for packets of dipping sauce, Williams reportedly parked his vehicle and went inside the restaurant. He went up to the counter, started yelling obscenities, and told an employee he would break the employee's neck. A police report says Williams did not physically assault anyone, but he left the restaurant, but someone was able to write down his license plate number. The report said Springfield police arrested Williams near his home. And now on to weather with Lonnie.
Thanks, Brenna. Now we're going to go on to our weather. If you could look at our 5-day forecast over here, folks. Today we're having isolated thunderstorms, 80 degrees high, 58 degrees low, with winds 10 to 15 miles per hour in the south. Tomorrow we're having partly cloudy skies, 77 degrees high, 58 degrees low, rain 20%, and winds 5 to 10 miles per hour in the south again. Thursday, we're having isolated thunderstorms, 76 degrees high, 60 degrees low, with winds 5 to 15 miles per hour in the west. Friday, we're having partly cloudy skies, 76 degrees high, 58 degrees low, with winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour in the west. And Saturday, lovely weekend we will be having, mostly cloudy skies, 72 degrees high, 55 degrees low, and winds with 10 to 15 miles per hour in the southwest. Well, that's your weather, folks. Now on to our commercial. Excuse me, young man, what would you do for a Chips Ahoy cookie?
Just about anything.
Really? Would you jump in place?
Yeah.
Would you pick on somebody bigger than you?
Yeah. Your shoes are stupid.
What?
Aha, I know something you wouldn't do. You wouldn't drag your butt on the carpet, would you?
You want to bet?
Would you ruin the ending to a great movie?
Watch me. He's the father. Dang it.
Would you express your love to this wonderful dog?
Yes. Will you marry me?
Would you run around a tree?
Yeah.
Chips Ahoy, so good, anybody would do anything
And
for
now,
it.
what is happening here at home? Many have heard of the catastrophe that happened to young 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. However, last month's fatal shooting of Martin has tapped into a deep vein of distrust among African Americans. At the Baptist Church in Martin's hometown, stories of violence and hurt poured out from the hearts of concerned black mothers and grandmothers. Nevertheless, the internet was alive with petitions demanding justice, and hundreds marched into Manhattan on Wednesday and rallied in Stanford on Thursday to protest the killing. For those who have not heard, here's what happened. On the night of February 26, Martin was leisurely walking from a convenience store with Skittles and an iced tea in his hands. With his hoodie on, Martin was walking in the retreat at Twin Lakes, which is a gated community in the Orlando suburb of Stanford, heading towards his girlfriend's house. Alarmingly, there had been a recent rise of burglaries and thefts in that neighborhood, which increased surveillance of that area. Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman was driving by and spotted Martin. Out of alarm, he called 911 and described Martin as a guy who was drugged and up to no good. Despite the dispatcher's warning, Zimmerman armed his gun, jumped out of his SUV, and followed Martin. After a confrontation, Zimmerman shot Martin dead. At that time, Zimmerman stated he shot him out of self-defense, and as a result, the Stanford police did not press any charges. However, after social turmoil fueled by black celebrities and the social media, local prosecutors, along with the FBI and the Justice Department, are now investigating Martin's death. Yet, what would have happened if Zimmerman were black and had shot a white, unarmed 17-year-old? Would the police have let him go? The world may never know. Now, let's take a look at the world of politics here at home. With more than a week until the next presidential primary, Rick Santorum is expected to take his campaign to the next level on Monday, as he takes up the issue of the health care reform law. It is the only move Santorum can make in order to build up his momentum in the GOP Louisiana primary on this weekend. As part of his strategy to beat Romney, Santorum attacked his arch-rival, Mitt Romney, for supporting a Massachusetts health care law that bears similarities to the health care reform law. Santorum further states that Romney's ties to universal health care make him the worst Republican in the country to put up against Barack Obama in the general election. Why would the Republican Party nominate someone who agrees with health care? Santorum asked to the public. The debate over the 2010 federal health care reform law has been a roaming issue in the phase for the GOP presidential nomination, which Santorum saying Romney will be unable to debate health care with President Barack Obama in the general election because both support similar policies. Yet, Romney assures his program was only designed for the state of Massachusetts and that he would repeal such federal policy if he were elected president. However, despite Santorum's effort to lead the victory, Romney has a lead of 568 delegates compared to Santorum's 216. Therefore, many doubt Santorum can prevent Romney from securing the 1,444 delegates needed to win as a Republican nominee. And now, on to Brenna with our local news.
For our local news, in Rock Falls, the men and women of the Illinois National Guard 1644th Transportation Company will return home to their families on Thursday. Chief Warrant Officer David Merriman of Amboy said Tuesday that the unit is now in Fort Bliss, Texas for demobilization. According to a release from the Department of Military Affairs, 115 soldiers are expected to arrive at the Rock Falls Armory around noon. The company left July 4th for a 12-month deployment. It was stationed in Kuwait and performed transportation missions in Iraq. The mission is over, and so the unit is coming home early. It will come home into town off of Interstate 88, turn north on State Route 40, 1st Avenue, turn west on 2nd Street, then south on 6th Avenue, and end up at the Armory at 716 6th Avenue. It will be escorted by the Patriot Guard Riders, the Rock Falls and Sterling Police and Fire Departments, and the Whiteside County Sheriff's Departments. Those who want to attend the ceremony should be at the Armory around 11:30 a.m. The best place to watch the unit roll into town will be along Route 40 anywhere north of I-88, Merriman said. The unit complemented 175 transportation missions in Kuwait and Iraq with no casualties. Its soldiers traveled 4.1 million miles, hauled more than 35,000 tons of cargo, and transported more than 7,500 pieces of equipment. It also received 185 awards, among them 28 Bronze Stars. The 1644th was the last long-haul transportation convoy to leave Iraq on December 18th as the United States concluded operation in Iraq. Now in Morrison, a Rock Falls man Tuesday was sentenced to 6 years for pointing a gun at a moving car in May and for having marijuana. Dustin A. Manson, 24, was found guilty in September of 2 counts of possession of a weapon by a felon and possession of between 30 and 500 grams of marijuana. He was given credit for 334 days served in the Whiteside County Jail. A .25 caliber semi-automatic handgun, ammunition, and a bag of marijuana was in the car. Whiteside County Judge Stanley Stein sentenced Manson after denying his motion for a new trial. Manson's public defender, Allison Fargerman, said in the motion that Manson was denied a fair jury trial because one of the jurors knew a witness. Manson had another case pending in Ogle County. He is charged with misdemeanor marijuana possession, felony marijuana possession, and obstructing identification. He has several felony convictions in Whiteside County for criminal trespass to a vehicle, obstructing justice, mob action, and theft. In other local news in Rock Falls, patrol officers Dave Pilgrim and Bethany Wade and Sir Patrolman Jeremy Bonjo walked into a dangerous situation Tuesday afternoon at Rock Falls Middle School. An active shooter was on site. When they got there, they found students in the hallway leading to a classroom where the shooter was holed up. An injured student pulled at an officer's leg, asking for help. Another was dead in the hall. The 3 officers quickly made their way to the room where the shooter was. The training exercise held while students were on spring break was over in minutes. It forced the officers to make quick decisions and react swiftly. Afterwards, they discussed their tactics and timing. When we got here, we knew that there was an active shooter scenario that we needed to address. That was it, Pilgrim said. Sergeant Herb Hall, a Rock Falls Police Department firearms instructor, said the training is intended to teach officers what to expect in a situation and how they should handle themselves. They determined several times that the police officers get into stressful situations. They fall back on their training, Hall said. They revert back to what they've been taught, and that's how to handle the situation. Commander Tammy Nelson said it is vital to prepare for such situations. Nothing a school shooting this week in Oakland, California. Realistically, it is probably one of the most worst scenarios that could ever happen for us police officers, Nelson said. We have all kids, and obviously a school is a vulnerable place for the children to be. That's why we train and we take it seriously. Now on to sports with Lonnie.
Thanks, Brenna. Now on to our sports. On the local side of things, the Rockets get a 13-2 victory this Friday in Rock Falls. Cheyenne Burnett said, "We had a lot of confidence coming into this game. And once Jordan Giddings hit that first home run in the first inning, the rest of us relaxed and did what we were supposed to do in the batter's box." Burnett snagged a line drive in the center field off Morgan Ammon's bat and turned a double play in the top of the first. Then Giddings ripped into a laser beam liner over the left center field fence for a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the inning. In the second, Giddings followed Burnett's 2-run double with an RBI single for a 6-0 Rock Falls lead. Giddings was in control in the circle, striking out 4 with a walk in 5 innings. She scattered 9 hits. Finnerman said that they were really aggressive at the plate and they found the holes in their hits that we couldn't find. We tried to battle back, but they played with a lot of confidence and didn't let us back in it. Way to scare off Morrison, Rock Falls. Way to go. Also, in other news, Morgan Mosher hit the first team, second team Cheyenne Burnett, Jordan Giddings also in the second team, and third team in Addison Naylor for recognizing in the girls basketball of 2012. Congratulations for getting in those teams, ladies. On the national side of things, in the NFL, they just suspend coach Sean Payton and general manager Mickey Loomis. Payton will be forced to miss the entire 2012 season for the role in the bounty program. Loomis has been suspended for the first 8 games in the 2012 campaign. According to the New York Associated Press, it was punishment for a crush for cash bounty system that targeted key opposing players. NFL New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton without pay for next season and indefinitely banned the team's former defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. Payton is the first head coach suspended by the league in any reason, accused of trying to cover up a system of cash payouts that NFL Commissioner Rod Goodell on Wednesday called particularly unusual and yet totally unacceptable. The Saints must now decide who will coach the team in Payton's place. His suspension takes effect April 1st, who will make roster while Loomis is out. There is no immediate word from the Saints, but the 2 candidates can take over coaching duties and defensive coordinator Steve Spangolo and offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael Jr. After the NFL made clear that the punishments were looming, Payton and Loomis took blame for violations that they acknowledge happening under our watch, said the Saints' Tom Benson, and had nothing to do with the bounty pool, which has reached as much as $50,000 during the season, and where the Saints won their championship. The NFL said the scheme involved 22 to 27 defensive players, targeted opponents including quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Brett Favre, and Kurt Warner. Knockouts were worth $1,500 and card-offs $1,000 with payments doubled or tripled for the playoffs. Left tackle Jordan Gross, Newton's teammates on the Carolina Panthers, quoted, "The bounty thing is completely unprofessional. I'm happy that the league has made it known it won't be tolerated. To think that something like that would happen, guys trying to hurt someone to make a few extra bucks, it is just appalling. I mean, we have a lot on the line, every single one of us. We don't want to see anyone taking out of a game." For more extensive info on the story, log on to sportsillustrateds.cnn.com. Well, there's your sports, folks. Now on to our commercial.
Do you know an annoying person, annoying relative, or perhaps a bully?
Hi, Brenda! Hi, how you doing? How you doing, girl? Ah! Gotcha!
Yes.
Then you should buy the Buzz-Off.
The Buzz-Off?
Yes, the Buzz-Off. It's yours for only 2 payments of $565.
Wow, what a deal.
It's your solution to all your bullies.
Really?
Really?
Is it legal?
Sure, let's go with that.
Brenda, your lunch money.
No! Here we go.
Tag, you're it.
No, you're it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, Brenda, guess what?
No, I don't want to talk to you.
So you see, this is the awesome thing for everybody.
Hey, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you contributing to the delinquency of a minor by trying to sell her this taser gun?
Well, you
Huh?
see...
Huh?